This is Barbara Reese reporting for This Week in East Brunswick. We're very fortunate today to have with us Virginia Ahearn, who's a certified herbalist, as well as a professional midwife and a postpartum doula. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So you wear many hats.
Yes.
But to start off with, you're having a talk here at the library coming up in March.
Yes.
About medicinal uses of common weeds.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the talk, and then a little bit about how you got involved in this area.
Sure. So when I give presentations, I like to focus on a couple of different areas. I like to talk about just some basic information in herbal medicine, how to figure out what form to use, whether you take a tea, whether you take a tincture, what all that means. So a lot of consumer information, so when people go into a health food store, they're not totally confused, and a lot of information about different herbs. I usually like to pick out, 3 or 4 herbs to talk about, to focus on. And I will also talk about recommended books and websites that people can go to for more information, because the internet is just has a vast amount of information, and it can be overwhelming. A lot of it is not good information, and so it's, I think, really helpful to point people in the right direction. So that's a little bit about what I'll be covering in the talk, some of the basic topics. I got interested in herbal medicine and actually natural health and natural healing when I was a teenager. It was just something I was drawn to, and when I came to undergraduate school at Rutgers, I eventually found my herbal medicine teacher. I actually found him through the George Street Food Co-op, health food store in New Brunswick, and I would run into him every once in a while, and I took 1 or 2 classes from him, and I thought, wow, this is really interesting, I'd love to learn more. And then I found out that he teaches a 2-year program. And at the time, this was about 20 years ago, and at the time, it was not as, it was just becoming more popular. So we actually had to wait for the class to start, where there had to be enough people registered, but it was well worth the wait. And I learned from him for 2 years, and I'm actually taking an advanced training with him now, and I've studied with a few other people along the way. Someone in Ithaca. I'm also doing a webinar with someone down in Atlanta.
And you've studied with some of the very notable folks in herbal medicine.
Yeah, David Winston is one of the best herbalists in the country, and probably even around the world he's known. So I feel incredibly fortunate to have studied with him. He's just really brilliant, really wonderful, great guy, and he's right out in Washington, New Jersey, out in Warren County. Yeah.
Now, I was looking over some of the items on your website, which it's a source of information, great source of information.
Thank you.
And, some of the things that you have here today, dandelion and other tinctures as well. Give us a couple of examples for those of us that are novices. We walk into the vitamin shop, we see a row of these herbs, and we say, wow, this would be great to do, but I have no idea what to do.
Right.
What are some of the uses of some of these herbs?
So dandelion root is one of my favorite. I actually brought a sample here on the table. As people have heard of dandelion, they know it. A lot of people dig it up, and I think of it as a common weed. But the root has a lot of medicinal uses. It is very healthy for digestion. It is very healthy for the liver. It is a bitter tasting herb, and anything bitter is helpful to the liver and helpful for sugar cravings. So it's one of the things that you can use if you're, having a sweet tooth and wanting to cut down a little bit. It's also, the liver has just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of functions. And it's one of the things that you can do preventively throughout your life is doing just, good, digestion and liver support. And dandelion root that has almost no side effects or things like that. So it would be an example of an herb that you could take on a regular basis over the course of time for just health promotion.
Now, there's some other items here. There's a tincture. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the tincture actually is holy basil. It's a different variety than the basil that we think of as putting on our food. And I actually take it, it's one of my favorites. It is great for helping support your body in stressful through stresses, which many of us are familiar with. And it is also helpful for brain function and brain fog. So really, I felt it's really helped my mental clarity a lot. And so it's part of a number of herbs that I take on a fairly regular basis. Yeah.
And you have one other item?
One other one is hibiscus, also really lovely, sort of the opposite of dandelion root. It's very fruity. It's wonderful as an iced tea. So you can make the tea, chill it in the summertime, even put in a little juice or honey, and it's a great replacement for soda or other kinds of sugary drinks. So I think of it as nature's Kool-Aid.
And what a positive
the medicinal properties. It's very high in vitamin C, and it's also very cooling. It does have some other minerals, and it can also help with high blood pressure. So
a wonderful alternative to a lot of the medicines that people are offered today. It's going to be an addition to or instead of. There's another option for folks.
Yes, it can be, and it would be part of, say, a whole regimen that someone would take. I wouldn't say that just taking hibiscus flower on its own is going to resolve someone's high blood pressure. There's obviously myriad, issues that you need to look at, but it's an example of something that you would take as part of a whole herbal protocol.
So tell us your website.
My website is my name, virginiaahearn.com.
And you are going to be at the library real soon. Tell us a little bit of the details of that, when and where and so forth.
Sure. It's Monday, March 11th, 7 p.m. And the topic is going to be medicinal uses of common weeds. And I'll be talking a little bit about dandelion root, other common weeds and their medicinal uses. And I'm always happy to expand out to other topics and take questions and things like that from the audience. I look forward to that.
Well, we do too, and thank you so much for coming to speak with us today. We've learned a lot.
Thank you so much for having me.
And this is Barbara Reese reporting for This Week in East Brunswick. Thank you so much for joining us.